Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. Welcome to Extra Crispy, man. For today's video, we got a video that I always like checking out. That's ranking videos. We got one by Austin Sweat titled Ranking the Top 30 Players in the NBA. It says for 2022. I assume that means next season and everything like that. So we're going to check this out. Also, for people that do not know, I have a third channel called Crispy Flakes 2K in which I'm posting pretty much daily, maybe not daily, but at least 3-4 times a week, NBA 2K videos. Just did a Rudy Gobert Minnesota Timberwolves rebuild, so go check that out. Crispy Flakes 2K. I also have a main channel, Crispy Flakes. People I don't know about that one too, man. Let's go ahead and check this out. Like I said that 17 times.
We pretty much do this every year, and we had to wait until the season officially finished before we could do it again. So let's not waste any time.
Let's get it.
Starting first with honorable mentions, just so you don't think I completely forgot anybody. Numbers 31 through 35 just barely missed the cut, and they're Brandon Ingram, Pascal Siakam, Bam Adebayo, LaMelo Ball, and Jamal Murray. They didn't make.
Okay, I like that he did that because that gives us, you know, kind of like a starting point. Because I think Pascal's one of the most underrated players in the NBA, if I'm being honest.
The official top 30, but here's who did. And starting first with Anthony Edwards.
Ant-Man at 30?
Huge potential this past regular season. Didn't look like a star when the playoffs came around. And I think now that he showed that, he's going to be given a much bigger role this upcoming season.
Yeah, he'll be awesome next year.
See a lot more of him. 29 goes to Karl Anthony Towns, who has been the Wolves' best player
Rudy
for a
Gobert
while
28.
now, but based on what I just said, that might change this year. Now, Towns is a great player, definitely top 30, but I think a lot of people have waited for him to take that next step like Joel Embiid did, but I don't think it's ever coming from Cat, and we may have already seen his best. For number 28, it's Anthony Davis.
Oh, Anthony Davis at 28? Damn. I mean, all right. So, like, with the injuries and stuff, I know he had a piss poor start to the season, but I don't know if that was injury related or not. Like, maybe he was playing through injury and that's why he was garbage. But 28, that's a big fall off. Especially, you know, if injuries is like the cause and everything. Okay.
Potential and skill level, probably top 10. Ability to stay healthy so that it even matters. And he's one of the worst in the league. No, actually, one of the worst all time. Which is why he only ranks in at 28. 27.
I mean, at 27, you got to have Kawhi Leonard then, though, right? Because, you know, it's the same, you know, like, I don't know. It's so tough with ranking videos to, like, have, like, how do you handle injuries and stuff like that? How do you handle a player having, like, an off year and everything like that? But yeah, the availability definitely is important for Anthony. You've got to,
goes to
be available.
Beal, who's one of the best scorers the NBA has to offer, but up until now, it's kind of meant nothing, seeing how he can't lead his
Real
team
deal,
into the
Bradley
playoffs.
Beal.
For 26, we have Kyrie Irving, and he's in the same boat as AD. In terms of talent and skill, he's in the top 10, but the fact that he barely plays really dropped him down. At 25, we have Zach LaVine. Originally, I had LaVine a lot higher, and I really do love his game, but for a bunch of reasons, I just had to keep putting more and more guys ahead of him, so he just kept dropping. And I think it's really only because right now he's just a great second option that hasn't had a huge chance to really prove anything just yet. He hasn't had that one big moment that
I think second option for LaVine is his role, though.
The newest and strangest member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rudy
hey, I love it.
I hate, but for the fact that he single-handedly makes up team's entire defensive plan and completely shifts the game for both sides when he's on the floor,
I do not like Rudy Gobert as a second option on a championship team. I think the fact of the matter that you add him to what you already have with Cat and Anthony Edwards and even D'Lo, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good.
With 23, it's Drew Holiday. Maybe controversial to some people, but he's always been underrated. Drew was the difference maker between the Bucks winning the championship and not. The year he joined the team, they were able to win it, and that was no coincidence. In the regular season, he's always pretty quiet, but in the postseason, he proved that he was one of the best.
Yeah, he's efficient, consistent.
Any NBA team would love to have.
22 goes
to Chris Middleton, who wouldn't usually rank this high, but again, even though it was over a year ago, don't forget about how much he helped the Bucks to their championship, and how big of an impact Middleton made, and just how different and worse the Bucks look this year without him. 21 goes to Andrew Wiggins. All right, with Wiggins approaching the top 20, I get it. It might be a little high, but he was just a...
Man, I love Andrew Wiggins. He's, you know, I love his story, but I'm taking 41 games of Kyrie over 82 games of Andrew Wiggins. okay. Maybe not quite that, but you know.
That's part of the Warriors championship squad. I mean, he averaged 15 a game. And
I get what he was saying though with Kyrie and Anthony Davis, but
and not only that, he guarded every other team's best player during the whole postseason run. So if we just included two other second and third options because of their roles on a title team, I think Andrew Wiggins has to be thrown in here too. And speaking of second options, number 20,
maybe all-star starter. I mean,
Jalen had a couple of games there where he had us convinced that he was the best player on the floor, and that's all you can ever ask for out of a second member of a duo. He's supposed to have those big nights.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Jaylen Brown because it does seem like when it comes down to him that he's never going to get to like break out and be like the number one dude, which I don't know if that's his role anyway. I don't know if Jaylen Brown is your number one option as a championship team anyway, but I don't know. It's like Tatum definitely gets all that spotlight, and some players actually like that. Like maybe Jaylen Brown can focus on basketball and he doesn't need all that, but Yeah.
Huge on both ends when the main star isn't always able to. 19 goes to Chris Paul. Yes,
CP3.
obviously I still have to have Chris ranked this high, and it would be a crime not to. The reason the Suns were still the first seed and thought to be title contenders was because Chris was still on the team. His stats and numbers have all really dropped off these past couple of years from what we're used to, but let's also
He's a
not forget
9-9
the
overall
Chris Paul
leader,
effect.
though.
Number 18 goes to DeMar DeRozan. DeMar really made a name for himself this
Yeah,
season.
good for
and
DeMar.
revitalized his career. I don't think he even made my top 30 list at all last season, and I don't know if he would have even made a top 50 list if I had one with the performances that he was putting up on the Spurs. And it's just weird because he was
See, I kind of disagree with that statement. I think that DeMar DeRozan was very much a great basketball player on the Spurs. I think the issue is that, you know, it wasn't leading to like great success or anything like that. And you know, nothing against the San Antonio Spurs, but people don't associate them with like flash and glamour, and you know that's not how they won their championship either. It was just about the fundamentals and everything. I just feel like DeMar DeRozan just put up numbers. It was just with the wrong team, but now he's on a more like mainstream team. Is that the way to put it? And he is playing better in general. Like, he is playing better than his Spurs days, but he was still good in San Antonio.
He was playing his same game this year. Nothing changed with him. He just so happened to be a perfect fit in Chicago, and it clearly really helped his overall ranking. 17, we have Paul George. With the Clippers being out of the title picture the last couple of years, thanks to Kawhi and his injuries, don't let that let you forget that.
See,
Paul
I'm curious
George
if we're going
is
to have
still a
Kawhi on the
real
list or
star
not.
and one of the best two-way players in the game. I just feel like maybe he would rank higher on another team, though. Listen, the Clippers will be great next year, but I feel like personally, maybe PG would have done better on a different roster, because it's just still kind of weird with him playing next to Kawhi. I have the 16th best player in the NBA ranked as Donovan Mitchell. Coming into the league, Donovan Mitchell was
Cross
looked at as
up,
the
man,
next
damn.
superstar. Well, now after the Jazz have just been barely able to ever get past the first round, that's kind of gone away a little bit. His game hasn't had any dramatic improvements in a couple of years. His team always finishes in the top of the conference. Then the playoffs come around and nothing. The stat that came out this
Curious
past
what they
year that
do.
said he only averaged 2 passes a game to Rudy Gobert, though, really shocked me. And that wasn't a good thing, but now that he's been traded, I'm pretty excited to see how well Donovan
I mean, Rudy ain't exactly an offensive juggernaut, so I get it to an extent. Like, you want to keep the big man happy, but
because that's the lone star.
Not like you pass it up to
15th
Embiid or
spot, we
something.
have Trae Young. Trae has quickly jumped into the top 15 players of the league with all the moments, especially in the postseason, that he's already created. He's been on a tear since
Man's a
getting
menace, and I
drafted,
love it.
averaging 28 and 9 this season. But even with that, it's still always been disappointing for the Hawks to be one of the best teams in the league on paper, then watch them finish with the 10th seed every year. But now I really can't wait to see him play alongside DeJounte Murray, because if anyone's going to be the one to change that, it's probably him. He's a 25-year-old who averaged a near triple-double with 21 points a game.
Yeah,
But
people
if
saying
Hawks
he's the
continue
Klay
to be
Thompson of the
bad,
team. I don't know
we
if I
can
see
almost
that, though.
definitely expect Trae Young's ranking to drop next year. At 14, we have Damian Lillard. Listen, I think number 14 is a very generous spot to give Damian Lillard after this past year. But let's not let a couple of bad years distract us from the rest of his career so far. And
But even
from
with Damian, I think like before he got shut down, like wasn't he also playing through some injury stuff? I don't know. I feel like a lot of players did not enter the season like totally 100%.
player
You
that
know,
he really is. With number 13, we have Devin Booker. There's an argument to be made for
2K
Chris Paul and
cover.
Devin Booker's rankings to be swapped, but for now we're gonna leave it as it is. And ever since the Suns have become title contenders, Devin hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't fallen off at all, run away from big moments, or changed his game any. He's still been an elite scorer this whole time. I would like to see him making more plays for his teammates though, and setting them up a little bit more. And if there's anything he should continue to learn from Chris, it should be that. Number 12 then goes to Ja Morant, who took one of the biggest
Okay.
leaps we've ever seen a player make this past season. To the point
Literally.
where if he keeps it up next
Duke
season
can
and continues
jump
to
far.
average 27, 6, and 5, and improves his shooting, and proves that this year wasn't just a
I'm not very
fluke,
funny.
he's approaching superstar levels. The Grizzlies team as a whole was great this year, but they wouldn't have been one of the best teams in the NBA had Ja not made that jump. And assuming they keep everyone together, this team's going to be scary next year. But Ja doesn't rank higher than 11 because that spot goes to Jimmy Butler. I
Buckets.
don't know what it is about playoff Jimmy, but he's a different dude and is the
Competitor.
definition of a true leader in the NBA. He's tough on his teammates and he knows how to get the best out of them wherever he's at on both ends. And when he's putting up 40-point games every night in the playoffs and is
You gotta
proving
coast in the
great
regular
on his
season,
own
but once
because
the,
no one else will step
playoffs
up,
hit,
he's allowed to do whatever
Jimmy
he
Tom.
wants. Okay, and now making our way into the top 10.
Here we go.
James Harden just barely makes
Harden
it
at
in.
10?
If from now on he's gonna be the guy we saw in the postseason for Philly, maybe keep this dude out of the top 15. I'm just really not sure how high he deserves to rank. I think we'll have to wait and see how this full season with Philly plays out before we drop him any lower, or maybe the rare chance that we move him up a couple spots. But I just felt like this was the safe spot.
Yeah, I
to
think he
rank
should
him
go
for
down
now.
a little
Number
bit.
9 then goes to
Maybe
Kawhi
top
Leonard.
15.
I've seen Kawhi drop on a lot of people's list over this past year, but that's just because he hasn't been playing, and it seems like when people don't see a guy play for a long time, they forget who they are and how good they are. Kawhi definitely deserves to be in the top 10 players.
Yeah, that's why I don't. I'm not quite sure I agree with like the Anthony Davis ranking still, because you know, like if Kawhi tried to play in the season and then was really bad, like would we hold that against him? You know what I'm saying?
In the NBA though, because I'm sure next season he's gonna come back better than ever. The spot for the 8th best player in the NBA easily goes to Joel Embiid. I wanted to put Joel a little higher than this, but I couldn't put him over the next couple of guys. His injuries are always gonna hold him back from being a top 5 player and a league MVP in my opinion, because no matter what he does, we're never seeing Joel play 82 games or anything close to it. I love his game though, and he
played last
as
season?
a player last year and just never went back, which is great. Now if Harden does play like he's supposed to, then these two are going to be scary together. At number 7, it goes to Jason Tatum, whose game took a huge leap this past year. We had a few games this postseason where he looked like a superstar, and then those last
Tatum, Embiid. Two different positions, depends how you want to look at it. You know, obviously Tatum got to the finals. You know, and I almost said MVP. Embiid was in the race for the MVP. Once again, it's like, are you looking at like total career or just like right now? But also you got to put the playoffs into perspective too, you know. It's like you can go for the MVP award, but like what you do in the postseason too, huh?
Last couple were just hard to watch. All I'm saying though is listen, with the additions that this team has made, if the Boston Celtics don't win the title next year, it's going to be a major disappointment and maybe his ranking would drop. Number 6 is then Luka Doncic.
Luka
as great as Luka is, I just couldn't include him in the top 5 until he at least has a ring. Everyone else in it has one, and I think you need to lead your team to a championship before you can really get into that conversation. And now we're into the top 5 with first LeBron James.
And
5? For LeBron, there's no explanation needed. He's got 4 championships, and I know some people are still going to have him as the best player in the NBA or along those lines, but this past season wasn't good.
Wait!
And even though he averaged 30 a game last year, he's about to be 38. So I think this is a fair spot to have him at 5. The 4th best player in the NBA at this point is probably Kevin Durant. Whether or not to rank LeBron over him. I mean, LeBron leads his team to titles and success, while the only time KD ever has was on the Warriors, and now with him demanding a trade to teams that were
he got to the finals on the OKC Thunder and everything. Playing with, you know, a younger Harden and Russell Westbrook and everything like that. But I mean, KD, LeBron, I think it depends on what you want out of a player. Like you can't go wrong with, you know, either way.
Already title contenders, he just hurts his case. But I tried to base it off of only basketball skill for next season, and that's why I put KD here. At number 3, we have Nikola Jokic. No conversation needed. 2-time league MVP, and when Denver gets healthy again, they're probably gonna.
Wait, I thought the man said it was the top 5 had championships. Huh. Okay. I mean, regardless, like, yes, I am taking Nikola Jokic over Luka Doncic right now.
Be championship favorites. At number 2, it's Steph Curry, and some people may have him at number 1. He makes a good case for it, that's hard to argue, but personally, I have number 1 as Giannis because he's really dominant on both ends and transforms the team on both sides of the ball. And there's a good chance.
All right, guys. Oh, what's the good chance?
The Celtics don't make the finals this year if Chris Middleton was healthy. If you enjoyed the
Alright guys, that's the end of the video, man. What you all think? You agree with the ranking? I think there's a few things that'd be different about mine, but that's, you know, I try not to get like roast or nothing like that when it's these types of videos, because everybody's lists are different, and the mindset as you're putting one together, you know, can be different and everything like that. So what you all think, man? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and peace out, my friends.